And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. A practice session. Buddy Cop. We have a rather large attendance today for some odd reason. Usually it's just the drivers and immediate friends and family. And Melissa Gable Stevens, Melissa Stevens, Larry Phillips, Gary Miller, Russ Hockey, just had his motor refreshed, Fred Collins, Buddy Scott, Chris Stevens, and Matt Stevens. We also have Dan Woodard in an exhibition. He's out here, Roger's testing out his overhead valve. We are a flathead class, so for regular racing, you need to have a flathead. Larry keeping right up with Melissa. She's sideways. Gary Miller now gets the pass on Leaping Larry. Matt's trying to get underneath Chris. In the Galletta's number 3 and 4, two of the oldest Go-Karts out there. Fred is having a hard time with Ogre's helmet. The former Sean Muldoon helmet, and it was then donated. Look at Fred playing with his helmet. He's losing ground. Oh boy, Russ, Gary, doing it out. Russ just had his motor refreshed. He's got a new seat. He is flying. Hey, Buddy Cotton loses ground. He goes off the track. His drive tire went off the track and he lost a lot of ground. The caution come out. It probably didn't have to come out, but precautionary caution. There is Wesley James Ogre Stevens and Colin Miller, his assistant. Melissa Stevens holding the lead. She's looking for her first win of 2009, which would give her one win in the last 3 years each. She had to wait till a late fall race to get her first win last season. The green flag will come out on the next circuit. Melissa is starting a very fast pace on the restarts here. Gary now, he's again going for his second win of the season. He come close last week and wrecked with Fred. Melissa, Gary, and Russ, they're gone. Oh, look at Gary just underneath Melissa. Oh, Larry, oh, and Fred. Larry, Russ, and Fred. Oh, and a tire stuck with Larry. We're going to have to look at that one again. What a wreck. Now Fred's stuck. Oh. Here we go here. Gary Miller gets a pretty good run on Melissa here. Melissa gets sideways. Gary made a little contact there, got the pass. However, Russ and Larry. Oh! And Russ looks back like, what the heck happened? Everyone else scatters. We're professionals here. We're not kiddie cartway people. Oh, and look at Fred. Poor Larry and poor Russ. Here we go again, ladies and gentlemen. Larry gets a good run on Russ. Russ didn't know he's there. And boom, into the tires. Pow. Everyone else scatters to avoid. Caution comes out. Whoa. And Fred here, he oh my goodness, Fred. He didn't know, I guess the grass was a little slick right there. It spun right out. Since we're all slicks now. Melissa is accelerating in the back straight. Gary now the only one keeping up with her on this restart. Brad now in third. Chris gets a good run on Brad on the outside. Real slick in the back turn due to the rainstorm yesterday. Or in the back straight, excuse me. Turn still a little dry, but the back stretch is slippery. Here's Dan Woodard. Oh. And another caution. We don't know what this caution is about. And no, there is no sign of why that caution was thrown. What does Auger say? Auger is, I think Auger is blaming it on Colin. Yes, that's right. Auger blamed that caution on Colin. Said that Collins threw caution for no reason. Here's another restart. Melissa Stevens and Gary Miller. Gary has been hard charging all year, but only got one win and has not finished well. With Gary, it's feast or famine. He usually gets a win or breaks down. Russ pass, Buddy, is on the move. He is flying here. He's got, he changed his inside tires to traditional yard cart tires. And he got a little motor refresh from that. And he is flying. Look at how quickly he caught Fred, Chris, and Matt. He caught them like they were standing still. Melissa, Gary, Chris, Matt, Russ, and Fred. Buddy is in back of Fred, trying to track him down. Buddy's having a little bit of trouble with a sputtering carburetor. Matt here pushing Chris down the back straight. Fred gives up the position now to Buddy. He is struggling with that helmet. The Wesley James Troger Stevens helmet. Melissa and Gary taking off on the rest of the group here. Chris is slowly reeling in Gary. But Melissa has been bye-bye here. Oh, and Gary suddenly lost power. His throttle cable. Gary Miller lost the throttle cable, or excuse me, the governor spring. And our Galletta's motors, we keep the governor but keep the spring on it. We override them instead of taking them off completely. And he lost his spring and lost power. Chris is keeping up with Melissa. Maybe Gary had his slipping because he was losing speed. Gary Miller now in the looks like Woodard went off the track. We're not sure exactly why. Gary Miller actually is in the 0, and that 0 is supposed to be, it has a can for a slightly heavier guy, and Nick Dan won with it last week. So he probably should be weighed down and hopping in that thing, but we're trying to get the show done quickly. We'll maybe deduct the for the weight. And now, Buddy pulls into the pit. Lap 19. Buddy now, his 6 has been cutting out, sputtering. The Galletta's number 6. It might need a new carburetor, we don't know. He now hops into the Galletta's 2, which Jason Mills has been driving really hard in the last month and a half. Uh-oh. Gary and Larry come together there a little bit. And again, poor Larry, he gets moving pretty good, but then somebody makes contact with him, and he loses many positions. They have been happening many times this season so far. When he's all by himself, he's very fast. Russ looking outside on Matt, trying to get third. The top 3 positions are the scoring positions. Melissa, Chris, and Matt. Taking 1, 2, 3, the point scoring positions every lap. First place gets 1 point for leading. Second, third place get a half point. So it always, oh, look at this. Buddy making a move and getting by Russ. Good move by Buddy. Chris now looking inside, looking outside. Melissa taking up a lot of track. Now Gary making a move. And Buddy now trying to track him down in the Galletta's number 2, which has already won a feature this season. Buddy tracking them down mid-season. 3-point race and the win total have both been very close. And now, that chain come off on the number 2. And believe it or not, it wasn't just the chain. I believe the right front tire on the number 2 lost a bearing, I believe. Yeah, he was really upset because he is right in the thick of it. Before today was Chris Stevens in the points lead, Matt second, and Buddy third, separated by 30 points between the 3 of them. Very close race. Melissa again starting hyper fast restart here. She is gone before anyone else is on the gas. Melissa, Chris, Matt, Gary, and Russ. Gary taking a few stabs on Matt on the Galletta 0. Again, that is a handicap machine, but Gary is driving it like a madman. Gary the backstabber. Stabbing Matt in the back for fixing up the car for him. Few of the people in the back falling behind. Buddy then hopped into the Galletta's number 5, which is usually Chris's backup, but Chris has been using the 4 in the past 2 weeks. Matt trying to bump Chris a little bit. Gary trying to bump Matt. That's how close we are. Melissa is really kicking sideways, dirt tracking him in the first and second turn. You can see it here too, but she's doing it even more in the first and second turn. Chris now taking a peek under and over Melissa. Oh, Gary Russ. Let's try to see if we can see that one again. And here we go. Looks like Gary tried to get underneath Matt. They brushed tires. Russ tried to get over Gary. And just a bunch of people brush, and Gary this one was a tough call. Usually the rule is when contact is made and it brings out a caution, everyone who makes contact goes to the rear, and that's the way it usually goes. No. Yeah, but they did make a lot of sense, so Gary said to let it go. The decision was initially made that Russ was involved and probably should have went to the rear. But Gary said that Russ only brushed him after he was already going over and didn't cause the caution. So I guess the decision was that Russ was in position back. Gary then quit because the right rear tire was locked up, and he decided hopping into one cart was once enough. Melissa now holding the lead. Lights on for the last section of the race. Three positions have gone unchanged for many laps now. It's Melissa Stevens, Chris Stevens, and Matt Stevens. Used to be Wesley out there. Melissa has replaced Wesley as Wesley has retired due to his accident 2 years ago. Melissa is fast, but she loses a lot of ground when she gets sideways. Buddy has now caught up to Russ and bumps him a little bit. Russ has a refresh motor too. And looks like Matt had a flat tire, and he then collected into Russ. Boy, Matt's had a lot of bad luck with that 3. How many flat tires does that 3 need? Near full moon. I guess that's why there's a lot of cautions. Usually when it's all veterans, there's no caution. Lap 42, 8 to go. And the decision here was made by Matt to hop in the 7. It is a handicap cart. And figure out what kind of penalty he will get for hopping into the handicap cart. There's only 8 laps to go. That cart is reserved for heavy boys, but Matt tries it out. Restart with 8 to go. Melissa, Chris, and now Russ up into the 3rd scoring position. Russ following Chris very closely here. Actually pushing him down part of the back straight. Buddy actually falling off the pace a little bit there. Matt here and that monstrous number 7. We could probably beat a few methanol carts the way that cart's set up right now. You can hear that motor trucking around. He's working over Larry. Top four very close. Melissa, Chris, Russ, Buddy. Whoever is in back of Melissa has to always be watchful. Every other lap, she comes very close to spinning out, and she'll collect anyone with her. Turn. You can hear what Jocelyn. Matt now getting underneath Fred. And Fred into the treehouse. Fred Collins into the camera tower. The caution comes out. And that probably should have been a green, a checker yellow. And Evelyn, Fred's granddaughter, telling everyone to slow down, be careful, Fred's out there. Let's look at that one again. And here we go. Let's view this one again. Matt motors by Fred. Fred actually got moving pretty good after Matt caught up to him because he's right there now. And he just got a little too high and into the tires. Boom! Flying Freddy. Oh, boy. He has always some bad luck. His bad luck ran out last week for the win, and it caught up to him again right now. Fred's had a rough week. He broke up with his girlfriend. That must have been something to do with it. And boom, man. He hit hard on the safety tires in front of the camera tower. It used to be just a camp-out building. Now it is a recording tower. Here was again the white flag come out. Fred just loses control. Boom, hits that tower, hits the safety tires really hard. And Russ here had a great run on Chris, who's probably going to have a close finish, but the caution come out. That should have been the finish, I would say, but as Fred was off the track, it should have been a checker with a caution flag pointing to the first turn. And here we go, the restart. Look at this, Russ Hockey. Russ Hockey gets around Chris. Chris has been in second place for half the race or more. Russ, Buddy also getting Chris. Russ then goes for the lead and almost gets Melissa Stevens. Chris puts his hand on his head. What the heck happened? Let's see it again, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Chris is going over the finish line with his hand up on his head, saying, what the hell happened? Here it is again, that last green flag. Chris here drifts a little low, and Russ got a run on him. Chris had to let him go. Buddy followed Russ by. Matt tried to push Chris, no avail. For me. As Chris's wife says, sleeping beauty. He fell asleep on that last restart. Must have got overconfident holding second for the whole race and was not ready for that one. Melissa Stevens with her first win of 2009. She's girls' night for the only girl racing with us this season. Melissa Stevens, this is her first win as Melissa Stevens. Her previous wins were Melissa Gable. She gets the win in the Galletta's 80, her second win in that car. She's had a win in the Galletta's number 3, which her husband drove today. She led 50 laps. And her trophy man, Matthew Joseph Stevens, congratulates her.
Tell you what, if I was breaking up, you got a little bit too high.
I don't think he's gonna get it. I don't know where Russ come from. Come out of there and it.
You didn't get sandpaper in your eyes tonight, did you?
My foot got stuck on the gas pedal. When I was coming on the curb, I'm like, forget it. I was going until the last
Well, they've been saying that when you guys first started going out there. That
He said it's either
And we have the post-game audio here, post-race audio.
I saw the